My name is Margaret, and I never thought I would find such happiness in my life. It all started when I met the love of my life, James. Our paths crossed on a sunny afternoon in a bustling cafe, where he accidentally spilled his coffee on my favorite book. While most people would be frustrated, James flashed a smile that melted my heart. "Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry," James exclaimed, his eyes widening in apology. "Let me buy you a new book to make it up to you." I couldn't help but chuckle at his genuine sincerity. "It's all right," I replied, trying to hide my amusement. "But if you insist, I won't say no to a new book." From that moment, we spent hours engrossed in conversation, realizing we shared a mutual love for literature, travel, and adventure. James was a charming and charismatic man with a heart of gold, and I found myself drawn to him like a magnet. As our friendship blossomed, it soon became evident that there was something deeper between us. The warmth in his eyes and the way he made me laugh made it clear that we were meant to be together. One evening, as we sat under a starlit sky, James took my hand in his voice filled with a hint of nervousness. "Margaret, I feel like I've known you my whole life," he confessed. "You've brought a joy into my world that I never thought possible. Will you be my partner in this grand adventure called life?" Tears welled up in my eyes as I nodded, unable to find the right words to express my overwhelming emotions. In that moment, we sealed our love, promising to stand by each other's side through thick and thin. As our wedding day approached, we couldn't contain our excitement. Our families and friends gathered to witness our union, and as we exchanged our vows, the room filled with love and joy. It was the beginning of a beautiful journey together. Little did I know that this was just the start of the incredible love story that awaited us. James and I were about to embark on a life filled with dreams, challenges, and unexpected adventures. We were ready to face the world hand in hand, knowing that our love would guide us through every twist and turn. And so, with hearts overflowing with love and hope, we began our happily ever after. As newlyweds, James and I embarked on our journey of married life with dreams in our eyes. We were both driven individuals, eager to make our mark in the world. It didn't take long for us to realize that our true passion lay in creating something extraordinary together. One evening, as we sat in our cozy living room, sipping tea and sharing our aspirations, James looked at me with determination gleaming in his eyes. "Margaret, what if we started our own company?" he proposed, a spark of excitement dancing in his voice. I set my teacup down, my curiosity piqued. "A company?" James leaned forward, his eyes shining with conviction. "Something that combines our talents and passions. A venture that allows us to bring our unique strengths together and make a difference in the world. We can create something remarkable, Margaret." His words ignited a fire within me, and I couldn't help but feel a surge of enthusiasm. "You know what? I believe in us, James. Let's do it. Let's build our own company and make our dreams a reality." And so, our entrepreneurial journey began. We spent countless hours brainstorming ideas, researching the market, and honing our skills. It was a roller coaster of emotions, filled with late nights and early mornings, but we were fueled by a shared vision and unwavering determination. Months turned into years as we poured our hearts and souls into our fledgling business. We faced challenges, setbacks, and moments of self-doubt, but we refused to give up. We supported each other, providing the motivation and strength to keep moving forward. One evening, after a particularly grueling day, James wrapped his arms around me, his voice filled with exhaustion and hope. "Margaret, I know it's been tough, but I can feel it. Our hard work is paying off. We're on the verge of something great." I leaned into his embrace, feeling a sense of comfort and reassurance. "I believe in us, James. We've come so far, and I know we can achieve anything we set our minds to." And he was right. Our perseverance and dedication began to bear fruit. Our company started gaining recognition, clients were impressed by our innovative approach, and word spread like wildfire. Before we knew it, we found ourselves on the path to success. The day we secured our first major contract was a moment of pure elation. James and I celebrated, toasting to our shared accomplishments and the bright future that lay ahead. It was the birth of a dream realized, the beginning of a new chapter in our lives. As we reflected on our journey, we couldn't help but feel a profound sense of gratitude. Our love for each other fueled our ambition, and our partnership in both life and business brought out the best in us. We knew that together, we were unstoppable. And so, with our company flourishing and our dreams taking flight, James and I embarked on a remarkable adventure, ready to make a lasting impact on the world. Little did we know that even greater challenges and triumphs awaited us in the chapters yet to be written. Our company flourished, and James and I found ourselves standing at the pinnacle of our entrepreneurial journey. The hard work, sacrifices, and countless sleepless nights had finally paid off. Success greeted us with open arms, bringing with it a newfound sense of security and abundance. With our business thriving, we reveled in the fruits of our labor. Financial stability allowed us to live comfortably and indulge in the things we had only dreamed of before. But amidst all the luxuries, there was one dream that we both held close to our hearts, a dream of finding a place we could truly call home. We set out on a mission to find the perfect sanctuary, a place where our love could bloom and our souls could find solace. After an exhaustive search, we stumbled upon a breathtaking two-story villa nestled amidst lush greenery. The moment we stepped foot inside, I felt like I had entered a fairy tale. The villa boasted elegant architecture, spacious rooms filled with sunlight, and a serene garden that whispered stories of tranquility. I could envision our future within those walls, and James shared my excitement. As we stood hand in hand, admiring our newfound haven, James turned to me with a grin. "Margaret, this is it! Our dream home," he declared, his eyes sparkling with joy. "We've worked so hard to get here, and now it's ours." I squeezed his hand, feeling a surge of gratitude. "I can't believe it, James. It's more than we ever imagined. Our love story has led us to this beautiful place, and I couldn't be happier." Together, we began to shape our dream home, infusing it with our personalities and creating a space that reflected our love and shared aspirations. The villa became a canvas upon which we painted our dreams, filling it with laughter, warmth, and memories that would last a lifetime. However, amidst the joy of settling into our new abode, an unexpected challenge emerged. One evening, just as we were relishing a quiet evening in, a knock resounded at the front door. I opened it to find James' parents, Richard and Catherine, standing on the threshold. Richard, a stern man with an air of superiority, spoke with a condescending tone. "So, this is the lavish mansion our hard-earned money has bought you," he sneered, looking around with a critical eye. Catherine, his equally judgmental wife, chimed in. "You should have consulted us before making such extravagant purchases. This place is too grand for the likes of you." Their words stung like a venomous arrow, piercing through the joy that had filled our hearts. I felt my smile fade, replaced by a mix of hurt and frustration. I looked at James, silently pleading for his support. James stepped forward, his voice calm but firm. Richard's face contorted in anger. "You dare talk back to us. You should respect your elders and listen to our wisdom." I took a deep breath, summoning my courage. "We appreciate your concern, but we are capable of making our own decisions. This home represents our love, our dreams, and our journey together." James stood by my side, his eyes filled with determination. "We built this life together, and we won't let anyone diminish what we've achieved. We're proud of our accomplishments, and we won't let anyone undermine our happiness." Richard and Catherine exchanged glances, realizing that their attempts to control and belittle us were futile. With a curt nod, they turned and left, their disapproval lingering in the air. As the door closed behind them, James enveloped me in a tight embrace. "We won't let their negativity taint our happiness, Margaret," he whispered. "This home is our sanctuary, and we'll defend it fiercely." And so, in the face of adversity, we vowed to protect our haven and the love that thrived within its walls. Our villa became a symbol of our resilience and the unbreakable bond we shared. Together, we stood tall, ready to face any challenge that dared to threaten our happiness. After the confrontation with James' parents, Richard and Catherine, our once peaceful home was tinged with a sense of unease. Their words lingered in the air, and the wounds they had inflicted weighed heavy on our hearts. It was a challenging time, but we relied on each other for strength and support. In the days that followed, I found solace in James's unwavering presence. He listened patiently as I poured out my emotions, offering a comforting shoulder to lean on. Together, we processed the hurt and frustration, determined not to let it overshadow our love and happiness. One evening, as we sat in our living room, the gentle glow of candlelight casting a warm ambiance, James took my hand in his voice filled with tenderness. "Margaret, I want you to know that I'm here for you, through thick and thin. Your happiness is my priority, and I won't let anyone or anything bring you down." Tears welled up in my eyes, touched by his unwavering support. "James, I couldn't ask for a better partner. Your love gives me strength, and together we can overcome anything." We embraced, seeking solace in each other's arms, finding comfort in the unbreakable bond we shared. We knew that, despite the challenges, our love was resilient and would guide us through this storm. As we navigated the days that followed, James and I made a pact to protect our happiness and stand up for ourselves. We refused to let Richard and Catherine's words define us or dictate our path. With newfound determination, we focused on our dreams and the success of our company. We poured our energy into our work, channeling our frustrations into fuel for growth. Our dedication paid off as our business continued to thrive, surpassing even our own expectations. But amidst the professional achievements, there were moments of vulnerability. I found myself questioning my worth and doubting my abilities, haunted by the echoes of Richard and Catherine's criticism. It was during these moments that James stepped in, reminding me of my strength and potential. "You are remarkable, Margaret," he would assure me. "Don't let their words diminish your light. You are capable of greatness, and I believe in you with all my heart." Those words became my anchor, grounding me in a sea of uncertainty. James's unwavering belief in me bolstered my confidence, reminding me of my own worth. With his support, I found the courage to rise above the negativity and rediscover my inner strength. Together, we made a pact to shield ourselves from toxic influences and prioritize our own well-being. We surrounded ourselves with positive, uplifting individuals who believed in our vision and supported our growth. As time passed, the wounds from the encounter with Richard and Catherine began to heal. We forged ahead, determined to build a life filled with love, success, and happiness. We learned to let go of the hurtful words, realizing that their negativity had no power over us unless we allowed it. With each passing day, our bond grew stronger, fortified by the challenges we faced and the unwavering support we offered one another. We were a team, united in our commitment to protect our happiness and thrive despite the obstacles thrown our way. And so, in the midst of heartache and vulnerability, James and I emerged as warriors of love, ready to face the world hand in hand, knowing that with each other's support, we could overcome any adversity. After enduring the hurt and disrespect inflicted upon us by Richard and Catherine, James and I knew we couldn't let their actions go unanswered. We couldn't simply sweep their behavior under the rug and pretend it didn't happen. It was time to reclaim our power and teach them a lesson they would never forget. Late into the night, as we sat at our kitchen table, a map spread out before us, we hatched a plan. James looked at me, a mischievous glint in his eyes. "Margaret, we need to show them that their actions have consequences. It's time for them to learn the meaning of respect." I nodded, a smile forming on my face. "You're right, James. Let's give them a taste of their own medicine. But how?" James leaned closer, his voice filled with determination. "Let's plan a surprise vacation for them. A luxurious getaway to an exotic destination. But here's the twist. We'll buy them one-way tickets." A wicked grin spread across my face. So, they'll be stranded without a way back home? James nodded, his eyes gleaming with satisfaction. Exactly. They'll realize the consequences of their behavior, and maybe, just maybe, they'll understand the pain they caused us. We spent hours meticulously planning their trip, selecting a destination they had always dreamed of visiting. We ensured that every detail was perfect, from luxurious accommodations to enticing activities. It was the ultimate revenge disguised as an act of goodwill. A week later, we gathered Richard and Catherine together, their excitement evident as we presented them with tickets to their dream vacation. Richard's eyes widened, his voice filled with anticipation. A trip for us. Catherine clasped her hands together, a smile spreading across her face. Oh, this is too generous of you, James. Margaret. We're truly grateful. James and I exchanged a knowing glance, a mixture of satisfaction and anticipation. Consider it a token of our appreciation, I said, my voice dripping with sweetness. Unbeknownst to them, we had only purchased one-way tickets. It was a daring move, but we felt it was necessary to show them the consequences of their actions. Days turned into weeks, and Richard and Catherine embarked on their supposed dream vacation. Little did they know that their return journey was a one-way ticket to their own undoing. We eagerly awaited the phone call we knew would come, a call filled with anger and desperation. And then it came, a month later, as we sat in our living room, our hearts pounding with anticipation. The phone rang. James answered, his voice steady and composed. Richard's voice trembled with rage. James! Margaret! Do you have any idea what you've done? We're stranded in another country, and we have no way to get back home. James remained calm, his tone measured. Richard, Catherine, you're experiencing the consequences of your actions. We wanted you to understand the pain you caused us, the disrespect you showed. This was our way of making you realize the gravity of your behavior. The behavior of your behavior. Catherine's voice shook with disbelief. How could you do this to us? We're your parents. James's response was unwavering. Parents should love, support, and respect their children. We deserve the same in return. Consider this a lesson in empathy and humility. As the call ended, a sense of satisfaction washed over us. We had taken a bold step to protect ourselves and seek retribution for the pain they had caused. While revenge wasn't our typical approach, it felt necessary to create boundaries and ensure our own well-being. We knew that our actions might strain our relationship with Richard and Catherine even further, but we were willing to accept the consequences. We had stood up for ourselves, shown them the repercussions of their actions, and vowed to protect our happiness at all costs. And so, with a sense of accomplishment, James and I turned to each other, knowing that we had sent a powerful message. We were ready to move forward, united in our resolve to build a life filled with love, respect, and the freedom to create our own destiny. After executing our plan to strand Richard and Catherine in another country, James and I found ourselves in a state of both anticipation and uncertainty. We had sought revenge for the pain they had inflicted upon us, but we also wondered if our actions had gone too far. Days turned into weeks, and silence hung in the air. We couldn't help but wonder what Richard and Catherine were experiencing in that distant land. Were they regretting their actions? Did they finally understand the hurt they had caused? Then one fateful evening, as the sun began to set, our phone rang. James reached for it, his hand steady, and answered with a calm demeanor. It was Richard on the other end of the line, his voice filled with anger and desperation. James, Margaret, you've left us stranded in a foreign country. We have no way to get back home. Richard's voice trembled with a mix of frustration and fear. James listened attentively, his voice firm yet unwavering. Richard, Catherine, you must understand that we did not take this decision lightly. It was meant to make you realize the consequences of your actions. We wanted you to experience the pain you inflicted upon us. Catherine's voice quivered with panic. But we didn't deserve this. We're your parents. James took a deep breath before responding. Parents should love, support, and respect their children. We expected the same from you. This was our way of showing you the impact of your behavior and setting boundaries for our own well-being." There was a moment of silence on the other end of the line as Richard and Catherine processed James's words. The weight of their actions began to sink in, and remorse crept into their voices. I never realized the hurt we caused," Richard finally admitted, his voice filled with genuine remorse. "We were blinded by our own expectations and failed to see the pain we were inflicting upon you." Catherine's voice cracked with emotion. "We're truly sorry, James, Margaret. We never meant to hurt you. We let our pride and expectations cloud our judgment." James's tone softened, infused with compassion. "Richard, Catherine, it's important that we all learn from this experience. We want to mend our relationship and move forward, but it will require mutual respect and understanding." As the call ended, James and I exchanged glances, realizing that our revenge had achieved its purpose. Richard and Catherine had finally come to understand the impact of their actions, and their remorse marked the beginning of a potential path to healing. In the days that followed, Richard and Catherine reached out to us, expressing their genuine desire for reconciliation. We cautiously accepted their apologies, understanding that rebuilding trust would be a gradual process. It wasn't about forgetting the past, but rather about learning from it and forging a new path forward. Over time, we started to rebuild our relationship with Richard and Catherine, focusing on open communication, forgiveness, and mutual respect. The bitterness that once existed began to fade, replaced by a newfound understanding and appreciation for the complexity of family dynamics. We learned that revenge, although tempting, wasn't a sustainable solution. It may have served as a wake-up call, but true growth and healing came from a place of empathy, compassion, and the willingness to confront our own shortcomings. And so, as we closed the chapter on our revenge, we embraced the sweet taste of redemption. James and I had confronted the pain, found the courage to set boundaries, and ultimately opened the door to healing and forgiveness. Together, we embarked on a new journey, one rooted in love, understanding, and the unwavering belief that even in the face of adversity, family bonds can be repaired and strengthened.